Hello and welcome to another video. This is the Elm Bathtub. This is the second video of my 5-part series of Can You Have Fun for 50p. So I pick up 5 games, each costing 50p, and we find out if you can enjoy yourself on that small amount of loose change. So this one is European Ship Simulator, so a quick read through on Steam for you here. A speeding powerboat, a humble tug to a luxury cruise liner, captain 8 highly detailed ships, fight against realistic water physics, and take in spectacular vistas as you navigate famous European ports. Now, I'm quite prepared to say at this point that description is a pile of bollocks. The reviews on Steam are actually mostly negative to date, and this is published by Excalibur, Excalibur Publishing, published by and developed by Excalibur. So we'll just go and see exactly why I'm being so harsh so early on. Alright then, so let's just start with the main menu. So from here, yep, looks basic, but you don't really get a handle of whether the game's any good at this stage, of course. But quick look in the settings, some basic graphics, level settings, volume settings, something that wants you to enter a code, but when you click on it, there's a space for you to type something, whether that's expecting some sort of script or password. I have absolutely no idea. There's no explanation whatsoever. There are controls which are all customizable and entirely depending on what you want to do, but that all works fine, no complaints at all. Apart from that, there is an in-game editor, so you can create your own scenarios, but as you go through the preset scenarios, you probably won't want to come back and do anything yourself. You'd probably rather just set fire to yourself and leave it at that, to be honest. So I'll jump straight into some of the preset missions. So I think the first one was a tug mission. So you start off with this tiny tugboat at this port, and the first thing you notice is how staggering the lack of detail is on the actual environment. There's no movement from anything. There's nothing to make you feel like you are in a busy, bustling port environment. There's a few other boats milling about, but that sort of thing. So the first mission is you just have to go out into the wider ocean from the port and pick up a gigantic freighter and then pull it back. The visuals, apart from the environment, are pretty damn awful. This game is only 5 years old. It's not old at all, but it's not brand new, but it should be better. The boat looks awful as well. The water effects and particularly the wake and the spray of the water as you get moving are also awful. So you do start to move around. The controls aren't too bad. I mean, let's face it, you've got an engine, you've got a rudder, there's a horn, there's some lights. Very uncreative, I would say. You can mill about in the cabin as well, and there's quite a few buttons that appear inside the cabin. It doesn't look too bad on the inside, in all honesty, but only about 3 or 4 of the buttons are actually interactable, and it feels like maybe if there were other functions to the other buttons, it would be more enjoyable, but they're just there for show. None of them really do anything. So yeah, I mean, what I found on this particular mission, the first one, is we went out to this big old freighter, you park up alongside it, and you got some really crappy buttons on the right hand side of your screen which supposedly do things. One of them is to go into tug mode or something along those lines, and then you get these red dots appear around the boat, and then you have to tie the rope up to the big ship, and that's really clunky. The control system there is awful. But yeah, so the rope attaches, and then I've never seen such bad physics. I mean, you'd expect a rope to be very much with the force of gravity. You know, it'll hang where you'd expect it to hang. You'd expect it to move in a way you'd expect a rope to move, but no. Somehow the rope will go through the boat. It bends at a 90-degree angle. It just doesn't look like it's ever connected to either you or the thing you're trying to tow. So visually, again, an absolute nightmare. They have failed on everything as far as I'm concerned. Everything. Even the boats are lifeless. Let's have a few people walking around on the bloody boat. I mean, no, it's piss poor at this stage. So yeah, you say there must be something about this game that is decent. Are there a variety of ships, perhaps? Lots of different environments. Well, yeah, there's a few ships. There's cruise liners, there's speedboats, all with really poor underlying scenario stories to them that don't really explain how to do anything. There is no tutorial in this at all whatsoever. You just have to get on with it and start pressing things and see what happens. But yeah, it would be nice to have some sort of underlying story or more depth to what you need to do, some reasoning, but there's nothing, and you're just left to faff around at your own will, directed by some arrows on occasion, and off you go. That's all there is to it. But there's just no fun to this whatsoever. I played it for half an hour, 45 minutes, I would say, and yes, I do feel that's enough time on this occasion, because if I played any longer, I think I probably would have become a nun or something to try and free myself of guilt from ever playing this game. I'm going to sum this up quite quickly, I hope, and I also hope that the images that you're seeing of the game will just back up everything I'm saying, but the visuals are terrible. The missions are unimaginative, uncreative, contain no guidance whatsoever. The sounds are awful. The sound effects are terrible, and they really would just want to make you gouge your ears out or off or whatever. In fact, the visuals make you want to gouge your eyes out as well. Just go back to that, but that's that issue. You hit the boat against something and you get damaged, and the sinking has no creativity at all. You know, there's no imagination gone into that. You just literally sink horizontally as you're floating, but you just get lower and lower until you're sunk. Everything about this is poor. It was probably made for about 60p, and it's not cheap on Steam at full price, to be fair. It's a complete con. You can see why you've got such poor ratings on Steam. Anybody who buys this game is a fool, and the developers will be laughing at you. Do not touch this with a barge pole. In fact, it's not even a game. I don't know what it is. Waste of time is what I say. Anyway, sorry for the negativity. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.